It started on a Tuesday night, the kind of evening that smells like burnt garlic and compromise. The kitchen light buzzed softly while I stirred pasta, music humming through the old Bluetooth speaker. Then a song came on I didn't recognize. Slow, romantic, lyrics like a secret whispered too close. I glanced at the screen. The playlist title glowed back at me. For Isla. My name's Nora, 29, freelance graphic designer, part-time romantic, full-time idiot when it comes to love. I live in a small rental that looks like a Pinterest board someone abandoned halfway through. Mismatched chairs, plants I forget to water, and records stacked in every corner because he likes the sound of vinyl better than the sound of silence. Miles, 31. Sound engineer, thoughtful, moody, the kind of man who curates entire playlists instead of saying how he feels. Each one had a title. For mornings, for rain, for you. We never fought about money or friends or work. We fought about pauses, the ones between songs when he'd drift somewhere else I couldn't follow. He always said music was his love language. I believed him. So when I found the playlist, I thought it was sweet. Another quiet gesture, another secret meant for me. Until I pressed play. Before you judge me, understand this. I've always had a weakness for musicians. Not the famous ones, but the tortured ones who love in lyrics and disappear into sound. Every song Miles ever shared with me felt like a confession, a coded message, a piece of him I was lucky enough to decode. He once told me, "Music is how I talk when words fail." I thought that made him deep. Turns out, it just made him fluent in distraction. Our relationship had its own rhythm. Late-night drives with half-charged phones, playlists swapped like love letters, voice memos of his guitar riffs sent between deadlines. When we fought, he'd send me a song instead of an apology. And every time, I'd forgive him before the chorus ended. There was one playlist, Morning Coffee. He made it for me during our first year together. Every track felt like proof that love could sound consistent. So when I saw For Isla, I didn't panic. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe his cousin, maybe a client, maybe one of those creative projects he forgot to mention. Love makes you a better storyteller. Not for the truth, but for the lies you need to believe. I hovered over the speaker, thumb trembling above the pause button, brain whispering reasons not to listen. But the thing about denial is, it doesn't stop the music. You just let the next song play. We met the way people in our generation still pretend to believe in fate. Through a friend's small concert at a dim bar that smelled like beer and nostalgia. He was behind the soundboard, head tilted in concentration, adjusting knobs like he was conducting light. I'd designed the event poster. The only thing I've ever made that actually got printed on time. We connected over the most predictable thing. Music. He asked me what I was listening to lately, and when I said the name of a band most people pretended to know, he grinned like I'd passed a test. From there, it was easy. Playlists turned into conversations. Conversations into nights that bled into mornings. Our first apartment was furnished with secondhand speakers and dreams that didn't cost much. Ramen dinners, concert wristbands, stacks of old records we swore we'd alphabetize someday. Default text. He once told me, "If we ever break up, I'll lose half my playlists." I laughed. It sounded romantic then, like proof that love had a frequency. One only we could hear. Our intimacy wasn't in touch, it was in sound. Falling asleep to the quiet hum of his guitars. Waking up to the soft chaos of him editing audio files at dawn. We planned our future in metaphors. Someday we'll make our own album. But I remember now how he'd sometimes skip certain songs mid-drive, the ones sung by women. Too raw, he'd say. I thought he meant emotionally. I didn't know those voices were echoes of someone he never stopped listening to. I didn't mean to listen to the whole thing. I just meant to check, to skim a few songs to prove myself paranoid. The first track was Falling Again, soft, melancholic, the kind of song that belongs to beginnings and endings. Then came Back to You, Come Home Soon, Remember When. Every lyric was about longing, regret, reunion. Halfway through, I realized I knew them all. Not from the radio, but from us. He'd sent some of these to me years ago, back when we were just a pair of people speaking in playlists. It felt like déjà vu, hearing my own memories remixed for someone else. Each track placement felt deliberate, a conversation written in chords. But it wasn't until I scrolled to the bottom that I noticed something strange. A small gray circle next to the playlist title, the symbol for shared access. Someone else had been adding songs. A collaborator. When I tapped the icon, the screen flickered before showing a name. Isla Waves. My chest tightened. That name wasn't random. I remembered it from a story he'd told once, a passing mention during one of those late-night confessions couples exchange before they stopped being brave enough to. Isla, he'd said. An old thing. Ancient history. Ancient history. That's how men bury the women they still write about in lowercase. I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. Her account was private, but the username alone said enough. Waves. That was what he used to call her. Laugh. Like the ocean. Unpredictable, but familiar. I'd forgotten that detail. My body hadn't. I wanted to believe I was wrong. That this was a coincidence, that names repeat, that ghosts don't collaborate on Spotify. But in my gut, I knew better. History isn't a graveyard. It's a storage unit, and some people keep paying rent on what they should have thrown away. I closed the app, reopened it an hour later, hoping it would look different in the morning light. It didn't. The playlist had changed again. A new song added, a love ballad I'd never heard before, uploaded that same day. The caption under it read, "You'll know why." The playlist kept updating every week. He wasn't reminiscing, he was communicating. It started with an experiment, a small, stupid test I told myself wasn't a test. One evening, while he was chopping vegetables, I played our song, the one he used to hum while tracing circles on my back, the one that lived at the top of our first playlist together. The opening chords filled the kitchen. He froze, knife hovering midair. Then he said too quickly, "Haven't heard that in ages." It came out rehearsed, like a man repeating lines from a play he thought closed years ago. Something inside me snapped, not loudly but efficiently. Later that night, when he fell asleep, I opened his laptop, not out of revenge, out of curiosity. Curiosity is the polite word we use for grief before it finds its proof. In his browser, the Spotify window was still open. Messages. Not between us, between him and Isla. A chain of exchanged links like love letters dressed as playlists. This one made me think of you. Can't believe it still hits. Remember that summer? Each caption was a timestamp, a breadcrumb trail of nostalgia that didn't belong to me. It wasn't just recent. The history stretched back years. Before me, through me, beyond me. That's when the real twist hit. They'd never stopped. Their song swaps had overlapped every stage of my relationship with him. Our playlists weren't unique. They were recycled dialogue. When I confronted him, my voice was steady, like reading a script I'd already memorized. He sighed, said, "We kept in touch. It's not cheating. It's just music." I asked, "Do you make nostalgia sound this good for everyone?" He laughed nervously, muttered something about overreacting, about art and memory and emotional connection. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just turned off the music, because betrayal doesn't always come crashing down. Sometimes it fades in, softly, like background music you didn't notice until the lyrics finally hit. I didn't leave. Not right away. People think betrayal is a finish line, that once you find the proof, you pack a bag and reclaim your pride. But sometimes you just sit there, surrounded by evidence that still sounds beautiful. I started listening differently. Every melody became a crime scene. Every lyric, an autopsy. I'd play each song from For Isla, pausing to analyze the timing, the tone, the meaning. Did he send her this one after he met me? Did he play it for both of us? Days blurred into static. My freelance projects piled up. Deadlines came and went. I'd stay awake until dawn, headphones on, hunting for answers I already knew. I was haunting myself through our own soundtrack. Friends told me to stop listening, to delete him, to heal. But you can delete a person's number. You can't delete their playlist. The algorithm knew better than I did. Weeks later, Spotify recommended something new. For Nora. Remastered. My chest tightened. It was his account. His name. And the songs. All bright, clean, upbeat. Every sad note erased. Every emotion replaced. He was trying to overwrite me. just like he'd overwritten Isla. I called him, not crying, not angry, just curious. "Does every woman get her own playlist?" I asked. He sighed, the way people do when they think they're being patient. "Music helps me move on." I almost laughed. It doesn't help you move on, Miles. It just helps you recycle. When he left for good, he didn't take his records. Didn't even look back at the shelves we'd built together. He didn't need to. They were already about someone else. I moved out on a Sunday. No fight, no final words, just cardboard boxes and the faint echo of songs that didn't belong to me anymore. The silence hit hard. I didn't realize how much noise love makes until it stops. The hum of shared routines, the background chatter of two lives accidentally in sync. For weeks, the quiet felt like punishment. Then, slowly, it became something else. Proof that I could exist without sound. I started designing again. Color replaced music. Muted blues, clean whites, soft gradients that didn't ask for meaning. I filled spaces with shapes instead of songs. Sometimes at a cafe or in a shop, I'd hear one of our songs playing. My body still reacted, a small catch in my throat, a half-second of stillness. But I didn't skip it anymore. Healing wasn't deleting him. It was outlasting the algorithm. One night, while working late, I caught myself humming, quietly, absently, one of our old tracks. It didn't hurt. It didn't mean anything. It was just muscle memory. Months later, curiosity got the better of me. I searched for the playlist again, for Isla. Nothing. It was gone. Private. Vanished from search results. Maybe he finally deleted it, or maybe she did. Either way, I closed my laptop and sat in the stillness for a long time. No music, no noise, no ghosts, just quiet. And for the first time in months, it didn't feel empty. It felt clean, cleaner than any closure ever could. We were never an album. We were a mixtape, temporary, curated, and eventually forgotten. I still love music, but not his. Not the songs he used to claim spoke for us. Now, I measure my peace in skipped tracks. I used to think cheating was about crossing a line, something loud and obvious, the kind of sin you can circle in red. Now I think it's quieter than that. It's changing the soundtrack without telling the other person. It's pressing play somewhere else and pretending the silence at home is normal. Life after him is smaller, simpler. No shared playlists, no coded messages, no half-meaningful lyrics left on my phone. Just noise when I want it, and quiet when I don't. One night, walking home, I put my earbuds in and hit shuffle. A new song came on, something unfamiliar, soft, maybe even beautiful. For a second, I froze, waiting for pain, for memory, for his ghost to hum along. Nothing came. I didn't skip it. Maybe that's the closest thing to forgiveness. Not forgetting, not erasing, just letting new songs play even when the old ones still echo. He left me a library full of ghosts. I just learned how to stop pressing repeat.